Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of the Paranormal Portal. How you guys doing? I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. In my head, you guys asked me how I was doing, so that's what I was doing there. But welcome to the Friday show. We got 2 full hours of the Paranormal Portal tonight. That's right, 2 full hours for the price of 1. So there's lots to love here going on tonight. Hope you guys are embracing a wonderful weekend. It's Friday. You made it. It's good times now, right? To any of you that work over the weekend, I'm just sorry. But it's Friday here, and hopefully we have a good show lined up for you. I believe we do. I'm always believing that I've got a good show lined up for you guys, but I hope you agree by the end of it. And if not, I'll give you the complaint line number. That's not the same as the number for the Paranormal Portal, just for the record. It's a whole different number, one that I'll come up with later. But welcome to the show. As always, I'm not alone here. It's Friday. And no Friday would be complete without being in the company of my very good friend, my right wing, my yang to my yin, Mr. Don, the beard, Longbeard. Welcome to the show, brother.
Oh, sorry, I missed my cue.
Yeah, that's you. That's you,
Sorry.
by the way.
Hi, Brent. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks
Wonderful.
for coming in. Glad to see you.
It's my pleasure, sir, and I can't go on with this. So anyhow.
Yeah, back to normal.
Yeah, and yes, it is a fact. Everybody was kung fu fighting.
It's true. That's what I've
true.
heard.
That's what this says.
We got a good show lined up, but including, I found this really cool article on Dan Aykroyd.
What?
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd. It's an article about the guy.
The guy who makes the whiskey and the vodka and the glass skulls?
That's the one.
Oh, okay.
He's got a really impressive background. I was reading through it a little bit, and it's really, this UFO paranormal stuff's been in his blood forever.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
He was born into it.
Yep, he was. So we're going to get to that later on in the show, along with many other things that we're going to cover here tonight on the show. But
basically, he's just said, don't give it away, Don.
Not all of it. Not all of it. We'll certainly discuss it.
Yes.
Because, of course, we've covered Dan Aykroyd for many years. He's come up in different articles and such. And he's such a big presence in the paranormal, surprisingly enough. Not only did they make the Ghostbusters movies,
what?
but he's actually got a horse in the race, as it turns out.
Yeah,
so we'll get to that later. But the phone lines will be open. Please wait till after the first break to use them because we got to get through the news. But if you want to call in later, the number is 720-923-0500. Again,
0500.
That's right, 720-923-0500. And if you're looking on YouTube, you can see it above my head under the words Paranormal Portal on the top of the screen. For those of you on TFR Live, I hope you had a pen handy. But if you message us in the TFR chat, I will look for it and make sure that you've got the number in case you do want to call in. But I suppose this is an ample opportunity for us, Don, to check out the news.
The news.
The news. Here we go, folks. Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. I'm your anchor, Mr. Brent Thomas, and I'm joined by my co-anchor, Mr. Don Longbeard.
Co-anchor.
We wear lots of hats around here.
I wear hats all the time.
Thank you. Thank you. If you've ever seen pictures, we're always wearing hats.
Oh, boy.
For the most part. But anyway, we got some news to get into tonight. These are some news stories that I pulled up, I think.
These are the news stories.
Now, not all of these are always wildly paranormal. Some of them are just technology and science and developments and stuff. Some of them are paranormal and some of them just aren't normal, which I think qualifies. Yeah, it kind of qualifies. But the first one we're going to cover here tonight is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this is ESA wants to bring GPS and Skype to the moon.
Oh, Jesus.
Guess where there's going to be hotels before you know it.
Wow. Hey, what's the Wi-Fi password?
It's called Don't Crack the Glass.
To the moon, Alice. To the moon.
Don't crack the window. Yeah, I guess they're gonna like put satellites around the moon now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've got to call G out. She says she's totally normal.
Absolutely. We're all kind of normal in our own weird way. We're normal to each other. And I think that's the key. That's the big takeaway is we're all weirdos in here, but that's our people. So
Yeah, that's true.
that's our tribe. You know what I'm saying? So let's check this out and find out what's going on with the ESA. The space agency. What space agency? What does ESA stand for? Do you know that?
European Space Agency.
European Space Agency, just in case any of you out there were wondering. Thank you, Don. Checks in the mail. The space agency is planning to launch a constellation of lunar navigation and telecommunication satellites. The moon could become a rather busy place in the not-too-distant future, with NASA's Artemis 3 mission aiming to land astronauts on the lunar surface before the decade is out, and various other space agencies and private companies eyeing up the moon as a profitable destination as well.
Profitable?
Yeah, that's right. To help make navigation and communication for those lunar explorers easier, the European Space Agency is planning to set up a new satellite constellation around the moon. Known as Moonlight, this GPS-like system will make lunar exploration cheaper and easier. Having a navigational and telecommunication network to relay what we learn on the moon back to Earth will be key for sustainability and of future missions, said ESA's Elodie Viau. You can imagine astronomers setting up observatories on the far side of the moon, and as we have all now become accustomed to virtual meetings, who knows? We could be doing Skype on the moon. To get the ball rolling, ESA has contracted two consortia to study the feasibility of such a system.
Jeez.
The idea is that this could be one of the projects that we take to the Council of ESA member states in 2022 and propose for implementation, said ESA's David Parker. It is, if that was the way forward, the project could start full steam ahead at the beginning of 2023 to ensure its operations within 4 or 5 years.
So they want to put relays on the dark side of the moon?
I think they just want them around the moon.
Right.
I don't think they're just going to be on the moon, but they're going to probably be in a stationary orbit
Right.
around the moon is what I would guess.
Well, if we listen to all the people that say that they've been to the moon, they've been in part of this space, breakaway space agencies and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The backside of the moon is already populated.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that story too. And while I don't claim to have any knowledge either way, but I've heard the stories for sure. I've seen the claims. There's many that claim that when Armstrong and company landed, they said there apparently were radio transmissions back to Earth, saying that they were being watched. They were all lined up in all manner of ships on the edge of the crater they were in.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you think of that stuff? I don't know. Of course, it's a big controversy, and there's a lot of speculation, and there's no way I can know. There's no way any of us can know, but
unless you've been to space.
Unless you've been there. Yeah. Now, I will say that I've seen some telescope photography taking pictures of the surface of the moon, and I've seen some incredible video of what looked like these craft going over the surface of the moon. The shadows match the shadows of the sun on the surface of the moon. Could it be faked? Sure. But, is it? I don't know.
Buzzacino says, so in space, no one can hear you scream unless you've got Skype.
That's right. That's pretty funny. Good job. Well played. Well played. Like that. But I think it's fine. I mean, it seems like a natural progression of things that, they've been talking about having a tourism industry on the moon for forever, since the 80s. Well, I mean, even since the 80s, but long before Elon Musk. But I don't know, for some unfathomable reason, we haven't been going back since those early missions, and I don't know why. And there's a lot of speculation on that as well, and I've heard it. So, I mean, don't bother emailing me about it, because I really do know the controversy surrounding that. But I just don't know what to believe.
Right.
So
Right.
there it is, folks. But they might have internet there before you know it.
Well, I wonder if they put stations or whatever on the backside of the moon. Are we going to be able to hear farther? Are we going to be able to pick up those?
That'd be interesting because what if it's an observatory?
Yeah, exactly. The space waves that aren't making it through our atmosphere, or whatever that might be. So,
well, that'll probably be the first use of it.
Listening station moon.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
remember in World War II they had those big, like, I don't know what they're called, horns that they would put up to their ears, and they got these huge giant, and they could hear like the old Victrolas. They had the.
They could hear like a cricket fart at a football field.
1,000 yards, yeah.
I don't know.
Could you just imagine that? That's high tech right there.
That's high tech. Well, it worked for a long time.
Yeah.
But there you have it, folks. I don't know what you think of that. I know
who's on big ear duty tonight.
That's the claim coming out of who's on the big ear. Who's manning the big ear tonight? I don't know. Let's get to the next one. And the next story tonight is coming up here. And not only is the military actively apparently researching UFOs, but they've got new competition. And this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Oh, let me close this garbage. Oops, I missed it. I almost clicked on the link. Now even NASA has started to investigate UFOs.
It's about time.
Well, see, here's the thing. I think honestly they've already known that they've been around forever. They've just been playing the propaganda game.
Right.
But now they're going to get, and maybe it's a credibility issue. Like, well, we've been saying that there's nothing to this for so long, and now the military's coming out.
Right.
So maybe we should act like we're going to research it really seriously now, too.
We got to get out in front of this thing.
Right, exactly, because it becomes a credibility issue then, because, the Navy and the Pentagon says those videos that are out there are legitimate.
Right.
They're not just a bunch of fluff or fabrications for the internet. And so NASA for decades has been saying, oh, that's just a bunch of gum, a bunch of bull. There's nothing to it. And now it seems like their credibility is questionable, because if they've been listening and looking at the stars for all this time and planning missions and stuff, and they claim ignorance on that looks pretty stupid. They look like they don't know what they're doing. So I think this is them trying to claim some credibility.
Yes.
To get, like you said, get in front of it. I think you're absolutely right. That's a good way to put it.
They need more government grants.
Yeah, exactly. God, we might as well fund the Girl Scouts for the next space mission.
I'd be more interested in giving money to the Girl Scouts than a whole lot of people.
I hear you. So let's read this article. It says, now even NASA has started to investigate UFOs. And this is from last Sunday, June 6th. The U.S. Space Agency has tasked its researchers with getting to the bottom of the ongoing UFO mystery. I'm staring into the camera with disbelief because I can't believe that just occurred to them.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, there's this guy named Stanton Friedman who's passed away, unfortunately, that could have really clued you in on that one.
I know. It's just like, really? Now? You're just getting on it now? Way to roll. You can tell they're a government contractor, can't you?
Yeah. We got to cut through all this red tape. We're not just talking about a piece. We're talking about the whole roll all at the same time.
What?
Oh no, G says I was a Ghoul Scout. I still have my outfit. Oh boy. No, it's the other one.
Oh, is it this one?
That's the one.
All right. The U.S. Space Agency has tasked its researchers with getting to the bottom of the ongoing UFO mystery. With the U.S. government's long-awaited UFO report seemingly confirming the presence of unknown aerial phenomena in our skies, the question of what these objects are has quickly gone from a fringe topic to a mainstream mystery with more momentum than we've seen in years. Now it seems that even NASA is investigating the phenomena.
Here we go again.
Wow. Let's just... I wish I had a sound effect for that.
Yeah.
Let's go with this one. There we go.
It fits.
Even NASA. With its newly appointed chief, Bill Nelson, asking agency researchers to look into the U.S. Navy pilot sightings of UFOs. Now that I'm here at NASA, I've turned to our scientists and I've said, would you, looking at it from a scientific standpoint, see if you can determine what these objects are so that we can have a better idea. he said during a recent interview with CNN's Rachel Crane.
Boy. Wow. If they want to fire up the propaganda engine, they
there
sure
you
did.
go. Yeah, they hit it right on the nose there.
Wow.
The bottom line is we want to know what we want to know, and that's what we're trying to do. While it remains to be seen whether or not NASA will be able to succeed in this regard where the U.S. Navy and other agencies have failed, the fact that it is looking into the subject at all is further evidence that these UFO sightings are being taken very seriously by the powers that be.
Yes.
I think it's having to do with their credibility.
Yep.
Ultimately, the answers are out there waiting to be found, and for once, it seems unlikely that the nature and origins of these mysterious objects will turn out to be mundane and unremarkable.
Really?
So, yeah. Someone or something is operating in them, and it's about time we found out the truth.
Was this written by a ghostwriter? Hey, we want you to say this.
I don't know.
And if you back up to where it says, right there, it says...
where up?
Stop.
Where do you want me to be?
Right there.
Okay.
It says, where's the brackets? It says, would you look at it from a scientific standpoint, see if you could determine, and in parentheses is what these objects are. And you know what he said? He said, because when you put brackets around it, that's what they mean to say.
Okay.
So you know what he says, if you can determine what this crap is.
Oh.
What the F is going on?
Sure. Oh, yeah, it could be. I don't know. I mean, it's fine. I guess it's great that they're going to look into it, but again, I think it's just saving face more than anything because they're supposed to be the experts on space. Yeah. And obviously they've been shoveling this under the carpet for a long time.
Well, and another thing they said in that was that where the U.S. military has failed. Really? Where have you been?
Yeah,
you failed too.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
The recipients of large amounts of government cash, taxpayer cash, are now going to take it seriously. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Gosh, we're really glad you joined the party about 3 decades late.
Yeah.
But thanks for being here.
Hey, look into Area 51.
Yeah, start there.
Maybe Area 52. Dugway would be a good place, too.
Dugway. All right, let's get to the next one because we got 8 minutes until our break. I don't think I got a whole lot more.
Alrighty.
Here's a good one. I'm going to have to put this link. Yeah, it goes quick, dude.
Is that an attempted murder?
What?
Looks like a raven.
Oh, okay. Attempted murder. Oh, all right. Here we go. I put a link in the TFR chat. Those of you on YouTube will see it as we're getting to it. But there's a picture on this article, and it's from unexplained-mysteries.com. Ghost photographed on bench in haunted park.
Oh.
I thought this is kind of cool. I don't know. Let's see what it says, though. It could just be a raven. You're right. A woman who had been running in a park in Singapore captured something rather strange on camera. Pasir Ris Park, and in particular its Sungai Api swamp area, is certainly no stranger to the unexplained, thanks to stories and Pontiacs, okay, a type of female vampire in the local folklore. In this particular case, a woman named Umaira had been out running in the park one evening when she noticed what appeared to be a long-haired woman sitting alone on a park bench in the dark. Why was there a woman just sitting there by herself, she wrote on Facebook. She was just staring at the lake. The area was so very dark, and no one else was around. Thinking this strange, she snapped a photograph and carried on running. As she did so, she recalled hearing someone utter her name, almost like a whisper in her ear, even though nobody was there. I had goosebumps and the hair on the back of my neck stood, she wrote. I know it wasn't human because there was no one else around. When she later posted her photograph and story on Facebook, other users noted the strange woman did not appear to have any legs or feet. The area beneath the bench was empty. Could she have simply been sitting cross-legged, or is there more of a paranormal explanation? You decide.
Raven.
There, I don't know. That's a pretty big raven if that's the case. I mean, ravens are a good-sized bird.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're that big. That's like eagle size if that's a raven.
Dude, they get pretty large.
Yeah, I know they do. But I don't know. I'm not so convinced that's a raven, but it could be. I mean, it does look like it has a shoulder here.
Well,
that white part.
Yeah, there's something else there.
Yeah.
Yes. And I can see where it could be is seen as like the shoulder of a woman with long hair. I absolutely see that.
Right.
So I mean, you know,
there is grounds to claim that it's a spirit. And this is just what her camera captured. She saw this with her own eyes. So I don't know how well lit this park was. Was it lit up enough that she could see it real well or not real well? I don't know. But that's a pretty good capture, and it's at least curious is what I'll say. I don't know. But let's continue on because we got another one to get through here before another one or two to get through before we're done with the news. Done news. Done news.
done news.
All right, here's the next one, ladies and gentlemen. And this is an article also from unexplained-mysteries.com. Huge blinking star spotted near galactic core. I don't know if it's relevant at all for anything paranormal, but I thought it was interesting. So I pulled it up. The star, which is 100 times the size of the sun, underwent an extended period of anomalous dimming. Situated 25,000 light years away near the center of the Milky Way galaxy, this enormous star attracted the attention of astronomers when it was observed dimming by as much as 97% over the course of several hundred days before slowly returning to its original brightness. Maybe it's a UFO. Call NASA. There's a UFO flying right way up in the sky.
That's a big UFO, though.
It could be a mothership. You never know, Don.
It's a mothership.
The phenomena was first picked up by the Vista telescope in the European Southern Observatory in Chile, a platform that has spent the last decade observing over 1 billion stars for signs of variable brightness. When it finds something, the candidate stars are dubbed WIT, or what is this? Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty scientific.
What is it? Is it WIT? WIT.
It's labeled WTH. What the hell? Or what is this objects? A newly discovered dimming was observed in a star catchily named VVVWIT08. So, I don't. Wow, they must have stayed up all night thinking of that name.
That is original.
That is so beautiful.
It's almost poetic. Like
it is, yeah. So that is the explanation for this phenomena. In this case, astronomers believe the dimming was most likely caused by a large disk of opaque dust.
Whoa.
There you go. They must work for Skeptical Inquirer.
Oh, no doubt.
That gradually moved in front of the star, effectively blocking it from view. When the disk started to move away, the star's brightness increased again. The disk itself is thought to be tilted in such a way as to appear elliptical to an observer on the Earth, with a radius of approximately 0.25 AU. 1 AU equals the distance from the Earth to the Sun. It is thought that the disk could pass in front of the star again within the next 20 to 200 years. Wow, they left a pretty big window open on that one, folks.
Well, if you look at it in the galactic way, it's a rather short time. It's,
I know,
10,
but
10,
so maybe in your grandchildren's lives. I don't know, folks. I don't write this stuff. I'm just reporting on the news. I'm just an anchor. One more to go. I've been called worse, believe me.
We're just told what news to read.
We're just instructed by the great masters of what to. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody has any input into the portal except me. For the first time in 30 years, I should probably read what the article is. NASA's planning 2 new missions to Venus.
Wow. Are they looking for evidence of UFOs? It's about time.
Wow. Well, I don't know. For the first time in over 30 years, the space agency will be venturing back to the second planet from the sun. With the surface temperatures exceeding 860 degrees and crushing atmosphere pressures that are more than 100 times those found on our own planet, the conditions on Venus are undeniably hellish. Wow. Unsurprisingly, therefore, exploration into this unforgiving world hasn't been easy, with several early Soviet lander missions ending up failing within a short time of arriving there. NASA has previously sent several spacecraft to Venus, including the 1978 Pioneer orbiter, which deployed a set of smaller probes, of which one survived for around an hour on the surface.
Survived for an hour. Wow. Awesome.
It's like overcooking a pizza after a while, yeah. Now the space agency is planning to send 2 more spacecraft to Venus, the first in over 30 years, with the last being the Magellan orbiter, which arrived there in 1990. The first named Da Vinci Plus, this seems familiar. Have I read this one before?
We have talked about it recently.
I know. I don't know if it was this exact
isn't
article.
The same one, no.
Okay, the Da Vinci Plus Deep Atmosphere Venus Investigation of Noble Gases, Chemistry, and Imaging sorry, will measure the planet's atmosphere. The second, named Veritas, Venus Emissivity Radioscience INSAR Topography and Spectroscopy will map the planet's surface to determine its geological history. Wow, that was a mouthful. It is astounding how little we know about Venus, but the combined results of these missions will tell us about the planet from the clouds in the sky, through the volcanoes on the surface, all the way down to its very core, said NASA's Tom Wagner. If all goes according to plan, the missions will launch somewhere between 2028 and 2030. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the news. There's the bell, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with more of the Paranormal Portal when we return. Don't go away. Just a couple minutes. We'll be right back. I promise. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Of course, we've been anxiously awaiting your return as we got back from break. Right, Don?
Right, Brent.
Because we live for the portal.
And we love you guys.
All of you out there. In fact, let's do some shout-outs quick. Those that are listening on TFR. Let me get to those, Don. We got Bam in there. We got Psycho Dave 321. Daryl Bowles in there. Andrians. Andrea, New Zealand. I remember that now. Okay. Gentle Wolverine, all one. Drone Free Zone.
What's up, Drone?
Cool Local. Seagraves and Seagraves again. Once as a guest and once as a user. He's double dipping. But welcome. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate your presence on the portal. And Don, who's here from YouTubes?
The YouTubes. We got the Bama. We got Brad. We got Buzzacino. We got Darth Fool, which was actually going to be my name a long time ago.
Was it really?
Well, no, I was just going to go with Fool. But anyhow, we have G. Herman, Jordan, Lou the GD, which is good dude, of course. MCat's here, Maggie M10. Let's see, Olin Thorson's here. Oh, there's that Paranormal Portal guy. Rachel Gets It Right is always here. We appreciate all of you, actually. Let's see, Rafaela is here. Ruger Ridge is here. Tiniest Squish. Truth. Hey, Hip Hop, how you doing? Wanda's here. And that guy named Aether Archives.
All right.
I don't know why he keeps coming back. That guy
Otherwise known as Fool.
Fool. Brad. Did I say Brad? Okay, I said Brad. Okay.
You said Brad?
So there you go.
Well, you did now.
There it is.
Dan Dawson.
Shout-outs done.
Dan Dawson.
Dan Dawson,
That's
yes.
is that a new name?
It's not one that I recognize.
Welcome, Dan. All right. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. It's always awesome to meet new listeners or see new watchers, listeners, whatever, listeners to the show.
Hi, Michelle.
Hello, everybody, and thank you guys for being here. It means the world to us because otherwise we look kind of stupid without you guys.
Well, we look stupid anyhow, but you guys just make us look a little better.
Yeah, well, we do the stupid part just fine, but at least you guys validate it. So welcome to the show. Spooks and specters, ghosts and goblins, and things that don't seem mortal. Learn of these and so much more on the Paranormal Portal. Nice, Buzzacino.
Yes.
Like that.
We have our own our very own Poe going on there. That's cool.
It is cool. It's exciting. But we got a bunch more paranormal. Now the phone lines are open. So if you want to call in, you got something paranormal of your very own you want to talk about, that's the way to do it. 720-923-0500.
Oh. And speaking of the complaint line, that's still 1-800-TOUGH-TITTY.
That could be it. I don't know. They might get an answer there. I'm just saying. All right, so let's get to more of this paranormal stuff that we've been talking so much about, Don.
Oh, yes.
Because that's what we do here on the show. We talk about stuff. And let me see, where the hell am I? Okay. All right, we're going to go into an article from justforspooks.com. Creepiest reality questioning experiences. Oh my, what?
The name on the top left corner.
All right, yeah, that is a little. That's
wow.
That's a little.
That was my other choice of names. Except it's not Johnny. It would have been Donnie, of course.
So in other words, the name of the Redditor was if used his proper name, it'd be Richard Hole Johnny. You can get to the bottom of it on your own. I'm not gonna pollute the portal here. All right, but we're on number 6 on the list, as we've touched it a few times before, I think.
Wow.
There's the name. There's the name, folks. For those of you on YouTube, you can appreciate it in its raw form. All right, so let's go to this one. It's number 6 on this list. My cat hated me for the first 7 years we had him. I don't know. Oh, no, I did read this one before. Never mind. I'm going to read number 7. I guess I did read number 6 before on another show because I recognize that one. Okay. Number 7. I burnt about 10 filing cabinets full of papers for my high school friend's dad for less than minimum wage back in 2004. Literally millions of lines of words, maybe even 1 million pages or close, just by tossing them into a barrel for burning. After a few hours, I victoriously tossed in the last folder. A little sprite of flame shoots out, and a singed fortune cookie looking piece of paper floats to the ground in front of me with the words only, "What burns does not return." I still don't know what the hell. The probability is just astronomical. It is. When you... What are the odds of all the pieces of paper that he was burning? There would be one fortune cookie that says, "What burns doesn't return." I mean, that is pretty creepy. You got to admit.
I was expecting to say, Harry Potter.
It's not the Goblet of Fire, Don? Did you put your name in my barrel? I'm just saying.
Never put your name in my cup.
Going on full Dumbledore there. Number 8. My grandfather had been in World War II and told us about when himself and a few other soldiers had been separated from his unit and were trying to get to Normandy. They had gone through a clearing in a wooded area but had to drop when they heard something approaching. They were on their bellies in low grass when they saw 20 or 30 German soldiers running across the clearing in a state of panic. Then they just froze in mid-step. He said they resembled statues and that some weren't even touching the ground.
Wow.
And that there was no noise whatsoever. Even the birds had gone silent. After a few seconds came a loud noise like a metal scraping on concrete, and the frozen soldiers started to become blurry to the point at which they vanished without a trace. This had been reported by all the soldiers that were present, and were called to the War Office, London, after their return to the UK, where they were pressed on what they saw over a period of a few days. And we're taken back to the source of the same spot in France shortly after the war had ended. Surprisingly, when they got there were other men sharing the same accommodation who reported similar occurrences in the exact same area. They were all taken to the woods and had to describe where and how the events took place. My granddad had said that the entire area was guarded heavily and that part of the ground was heavily excavated. The strangest thing of all the other, he said, was that there were hundreds of dogs in the area just milling around for no apparent reason. They returned to the UK with a gag order, ordering them never to speak about any of this. He went back to the same spot in France before he died in 1985 and said that the area had been covered with unmarked warehouses and was guarded by an unusually professional security company. He reckoned they were military, and I've tried to find out more about this, but can't find any records of it. But I do remember one of the guys who he was with that day. He used to come and visit sometimes and referred to the place as the Splintering Woods.
Wow.
And there's nobody taking credit for that story. It's been deleted. But if anybody knows of any Splintering Woods, you might be sitting next to something. I don't know. All right, number 9. It's not even that creepy, but the first time it happened was the first time I've ever considered that anything supernatural might be real. Very occasionally at my desk at work, I hear breathing in my left ear. There's a wall behind me, a window to my left, but you can't hear any outside noises, and I don't feel a breeze or anything. I just hear it. It's peaceful and sad, like a sigh. My first thought was air conditioning, but it's such a clear sound that it just cuts through everything as if it's coming from a whole different world to the general office noise. It's very definitely only in my left ear, and I never hear it anywhere else. Every time it kicks in, I very calmly just get up, leave my desk for 5 minutes, and when I come back, it's gone.
Wow.
And it says, keep on your mean side. Okay, keep on your mean side. Okay. Number 10. I've related this before, but I'll repeat it again. I can think of a few things that happened in my first year of college. I used to live in an apartment kind of place on campus and with 3 other people. We all had our separate bedrooms, but shared a living space. It was on the 7th floor, to give a better idea. Once I woke up around 2 a.m. to find that my phone was automatically playing a song. I closed the app, but it happened about 2 or 3 times again. I would have put this down to my phone being weird, but then one of my roommates told me the exact same thing happened to her as well. This wasn't all. A few days later, I woke up to a beeping sound coming from my phone, and when I checked, it was apparently a sound recording. The duration showed as 000 though, which meant that it shouldn't technically play at all. I deleted it immediately. Another time, my roommate and I were watching a movie and had stayed up till 3. It ended and she went to sleep, and after a few minutes, she burst into my room and asked me what I was doing. I was confused because I was just lying in bed reading, and she said that she heard very weird noises from the window, which she assumed I was making to scare her or something. Well, I went to her room and it sounded like heavy breathing / sighing, and I told her it's just the wind. We opened the window and saw that the trees and everything were completely still. I don't have the same phone, room, or roommates anymore, even though I still stay on campus. And that was by innocuous cyanide. Huh, that's crazy. Lots of strange stuff happening there, Don.
Well, it is a college campus.
Well, it's possible, I guess. Number 11, I'm the type of person who keeps my bedroom door closed and locked all the time, no matter what, even if I'm home alone. So like a year ago, it was 1 a.m. and I had decided to get a glass of water before going to bed. After coming back in my room, I swore that I closed and locked my door. After about 30 minutes of me dozing in and out of sleep, I suddenly felt all the ambient noise completely dissipate and immediately got the something feels off feeling. I got up and saw that my door was wide open. It scared the hell out of me as I was home alone. I've just chalked it up to being a one-time mishap on my part. Myopic insanity wrote that one. I suppose you would question. I mean, that's one thing. I'm sure that a lot of people that aren't familiar or used to having paranormal type experiences.
Right.
The first thing you do is you start doing a real serious self-evaluation. It's like, am I okay? Am I losing it?
Well, people with definite things they do, like before they go to bed, they go and turn off all the lights in the house, or turn off lights, turn on certain lights, for ambient light, things like that. Lock their doors, check the windows, whatever. People who do that though, and the one time they miss it, I could see that being just so out of the norm that they would think that they, maybe something was happening, but it's like me and my keys. I get out of my truck, I shut the door, and I go, where the hell are my keys? My door is locked, but I know exactly where my keys are. They're in my pocket, right where they're supposed to be,
Wow.
But that one time, you're just going to just like completely poop yourself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm the same way. I even carry the same things in the same pockets on everything I own.
Right.
I have the same regimen whenever I get new clothes and shower up and stuff, and then I put
Keys
the things from that same pocket into the same pocket on the new pants, and everything is always that way, and it's when things are not where they should be, it really kind of sends me for a loop. Yeah, I mean, it's something. I don't know if it always freaks me out because obviously I have a few possible culprits here.
Yeah, true enough.
Yeah, it could be the minion. I mean, he doesn't usually get into much, but I mean, it's been known to happen.
Right.
Or I put my glasses on the same place, and then they're not there. It's like, well, where are they? So yeah. I have to do that because I get so flighty in my thinking that suddenly I won't know where anything is. So I have this real specific regimen that I always observe.
Right. Well, that's like in the morning, like today. Mm-hmm. I get out. I'm getting ready to go to work. I get in my pickup. I take my phone out and I put it in a specific place in the truck or the car, whichever I'm driving.
Uh-huh.
And if it's not there, it's like, oh crap, where is it? I start like patting my pockets, as I'm driving down the road. Well,
Don does a cavity search.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah.
Slow hanging.
But I got in my car. I jumped out. I jumped off out of my driveway and up the road, and there was a train. I had to stop because there was a train right there. I'm like, great. So I think I should call work and tell them that I'm going to be late today.
Uh-huh.
And I go to look for my phone. I go, oh crap. And I start patting myself down, right? And it's like, because I know it's my phone. I put my phone there. And then I think, I'm like, you know what? I'm only 2 houses away from my house. And sure enough, my phone was sitting on the table right where I left it.
Oh, wow.
That's not just my phone though. It's my, but it's like one of those things. You have your regiment,
Yep.
and you just freak out when you can't find it. You can't find what you're looking for. So,
Absolutely.
there you go.
It's been known to happen, but there's D ports and A ports, of course.
True.
All right, number 12. I used to visit my grandparents' house with my father every Sunday. A very odd family lived a few houses down. They had a massive property in the middle of Pasadena. Okay. The house had 3 stories, a basement, a huge backyard. I was introduced to the little girl that used to live at some birthday party. Lived. I was in. Let me reread
it's
that.
missing the word there.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm like, why isn't this making sense? Right. So it's not my fault, just for the record. It's the story was miswritten. I was introduced to the little girl that used to live there at some birthday party. And we would sit at the side of the house and look for 4-leaf clovers. And she told me she liked to play in the backyard, but nobody was allowed to go back there anymore. She promised there were a ton of animals there and loved animals, so of course I wanted to go. She said we had to be very quiet and fast, but would show it to me. We had to follow this little trail, maybe a quarter of a mile behind the house. There was a ton of foliage around the trail, and it blocked out the building, and there was a barn back there. It was massive and really something you would see out of a movie. She said it had been in the family for a long time, but the barn looked pristine. When we approached it, she told me we had to be very quiet and that we couldn't go inside. We started playing around the barn, but not directly next to it, and we started looking for clovers again. For a while before I remembered, she mentioned animals. And when I asked her if we could see them, she scrunched up her face and got up. She didn't say anything, but did get up and start walking towards the barn. The grass was overgrown right up against the barn, which didn't really make any sense, but it looked brand new. The rest of the area was cleared out. The grass was only overgrown up near the barn. She started digging through the grass like she was looking for something. She wouldn't tell me what, and the longer I stood next to the barn, the more uncomfortable I got. I felt like we were somewhere we weren't supposed to be. I became a little distracted and started looking around for our parents or some adult to jump out and scold us. When I turned around again, there was a pile of bones sitting on the ground.
Ooh.
I looked up at her, and she was holding a very small skull in her hands. It looked like it would have belonged to a sheep, but way smaller. She leaned in and whispered, "This is why we can't play back here. My mommy said he doesn't like animals anymore." I'm not sure why I wasn't freaked out. Once I noticed the bones, I could see them scattered all through the grass. We heard her mom called for us, and we ran back. It wasn't until a year or so later at another birthday party that I was in the backyard again, and I asked her mom if we could go play by the barn, and she looked at me like she'd seen an alien. She said they never had a barn. The trail to it just disappeared.
Wow.
There were big trees there and everything. Something weird happened with the adults after that, and I wasn't allowed to go to their house anymore. I have no idea what happened. It was very creepy. I'm fairly certain I had an overactive imagination as a child and just dreamt all of that up. I asked my father a few years back if he'd ever seen that neighbor's barn. He had no idea what I was talking about. Why would there be the barn in the middle of a big city? Wow. That was by Baby Girl R. That's really creepy.
So met the girl who used to live in the house next door. Where was the house? This house?
I have no idea.
Let's go back up. I visit my grandparents with my father. So it was a grandparents' house that lived next, or a couple of houses down.
Oh, okay.
From the little girl, and she was introduced at a birthday party.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. Very, very weird.
Wow.
Something went haywire. Now, remember we covered that story not too long ago, Don, of the people that were at their cabin, and suddenly the guy woke up the next morning expecting breakfast to be made, and then went down to the cabin. The whole family would get together at this cabin. Uncles, family, immediate family, uncles, aunts, their whole families. And he went down expecting there to be like a breakfast, but they always did it. It was real tradition.
Right.
And there was no adults anywhere. There was no food cooking. They went outside, and the parents were like freaked out because suddenly the wild, overgrown lot next door was all developed with a house in it and stuff. And the person realized something was really wrong. The parents told them to get in the house, and these neighbors that apparently come over out of nowhere introduced themselves as the new neighbors in this pristine lot that was just overgrown woods the day before,
Right.
with a beautiful cabin on it and stuff. And he said everybody was really agitated. They got guns and they just stayed in the cabin locked up because they knew something was really screwed up. And then the next day, that pristine house and property were gone again, and it was woods, and nobody else but this person will admit that something was going on.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Because the adults wouldn't talk about it. They just wouldn't even talk about it after that. You remember the one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Creepy story. Now, it could just be a fabrication of a creative mind, but what if it's real?
Well, what about the girl? That's my question. Was the girl like a
ghost
like an
or something?
apparition?
Yeah, I don't
that
know.
only shows up like once a year at this birthday party?
Yeah, it's
Because
the anniversary of her appearance, yeah.
But then again, she asked the girl's mom to go into the back and play by the barn.
Right.
So yeah, it's just one of those. Now you see it, now you don't.
Yeah, it's like stepping into a different dimensional reality where things are not the same, and I don't know, like a really screwed up Mandela effect of some
timeline
kind.
shift.
Yeah, exactly. I think we can get through this one. We got about 4 minutes before the hour break. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Time's flying, folks. We do have a caller. We should
Oh.
get to this. Let's get to this call first.
Sure.
All right. And this is coming from area code 812. You're on the horn with us.
Hey, it's Brad. What's going on, gentlemen?
Hey, good to hear from you. Thanks for calling in. What's going on with you? We're doing good here.
Same here. I was going to tell a story.
Can you do it in 3 minutes?
I don't really know.
Okay, Brad. Can you do it? Can you do it in 3 minutes, or do you want to remain on hold until after the break and then tell your story?
I can talk fast. It's up to you.
Okay, whatever you want to do. All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, I'll just wait. Go ahead. Go ahead. Do what you're doing.
Well, while we got Brad on the phone, he's going to sit on wait now until we get back from the thing.
All right, Brad, we'll come right back to you after the break, okay? So
Yep,
just hang
stay
on
on
and
line.
hold.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with you, brother.
No problem.
Awesome.
All right.
No problem.
Okay, so we got Brad on hold.
Yeah, that way if anybody has any questions, we're not cutting them off, and going, oh, now I forgot my question.
Yeah, I don't
So-
want to push through anything right before the
Right.
break. So we'll wait and get back to Brad. And let me see, we got about 2 minutes.
2 minutes? Can we kill 2 minutes? We've been killing an hour already.
Here we
can kill
go.
2 minutes.
Number 13. Let me just read
There you
this.
go.
I was camping with my family on summer break when I was a kid. The first night we heard some rustling off in the distance. So my dad went to go and check it out. He came back and said he found an old dirty sleeping bag with a bunch of trash around it. Well, I took this as implying that it could have been a camp that got ransacked by a curious bear. We'd hear movement in the tree line for the next couple of nights, and it scared the hell out of me. Then last night we were there, I had a nightmare that a bear had made it into my tent and was licking and biting my feet.
Wow.
Oh, that's horrible. I woke up from the dream and shined my watch light into the dirt covered wrinkled face of an elderly man.
Oh.
He was sucking on my toes. Oh my
What?
No, and he immediately exited my tent and took off right after we made eye contact. I still don't know if it was my imagination or not all these years later. I never told anyone, and I have nightmares about it often.
I would too.
That was by Tap Out King 666.
Yeah, I'm tapping out of that one. Be glad you sleep with your feet towards the opening of the tent, not your head. Oh,
That
my
is so
God.
creepy. Ugh.
Hook up to an old man.
I would
sucking
prefer
my
the
toes.
bear, I think.
Yeah, no doubt. that
I would
be
prefer
less
the bear.
creepy.
Yeah, than
Yeah,
having
we-
some strange old man
We,
sucking on
we
your
expect
toes.
to be bear bait, not old man's.
Yeah,
toe
at least you
sucking
can't
bait.
blame the bear. You can blame the old man. That's like,
Oh,
no,
jeez.
this is not a good touch.
That's not creepy.
That's all kinds of
Bad
creepy.
touch. Bad touch.
Bad touch for sure, ladies and gentlemen. But we're gonna
Wow.
we're gonna be going to our break. I do want to take a minute and just say we are going to be going to Medellin Falls.
Yes.
Not this weekend, but next weekend. I will tell you, the speaking events have been sold out, but they're opening up a streaming opportunity for those of you that want to check out the events, check out the speakers like Bob Gimlin and several others that'll be just amazing at the Medellin Falls event. They're going to be streaming it. So look for Meddling Falls Bigfoot Festival on Facebook. We'll get you a link and post it in the YouTube and TFR chats. But definitely you don't want to miss this, and you want to check it out. And this gives everybody, if you can't make the journey, at least you can get the streaming and check out these amazing speakers. It might be, Bob's getting up there, and
Legend.
He's a legend. He's the cornerstone of our modern Bigfoot efforts. And what an amazing thing it would be to hear him speak. So definitely check that out if you can. I just want to make sure everybody knows about it, because that's a new offering, and it's going to be great. So we're going to go to the hour break. We'll be right back, and we'll get to our phone call and find out what's on the story for Brad.
Yep.
We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go away. Just a few minutes. We'll be with you.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger boils inside me as their lies keep falling apart. Finished with my silence. I am not a stupid boy. No more breaking me with kindness. Just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise. You're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed.
those she's with, they're attracted to the one thing about her that's different from themselves. Her life force is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
Hey, Don. You know what time it is?
It's time for the phone call.
It's time for hour number 2.
Oh, now we're number 2. Yes, that's what was my
On
next
the
guess.
That was your next guess. Hour number 2 now begins on the Paranormal Portal, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for being here with us as we dive into hour number 2. And of course, as Don mentioned, we're going to get to the phone call in just a minute, but I want to take a moment and say, if you're listening on TFR iHeart, tune in or TalkStream Live to stick around after the Paranormal Portal, because Paisley Wild's up next with the Spaces Between. And it's a great show. Good information. Well, she's a wonderful person and a lot of fun to listen to. So definitely check it out. That'll be coming up right after us. And if you're on YouTube and you're not over on tfrlive.com, then check her out by going to youtube.com/thespacesbetween. That's her channel. So that's an opportunity for you. But we do have a call, as Don so eloquently mentioned. And
Don gets it right.
Don does get it right once in a while.
Oh.
Not as much as Rachel, but
There you go. Yeah, true. You got a point there.
there we go. Let's see what's going on. All right, Brad, are you there with us?
Hey, gentlemen.
Hey. All right, we got all kinds of time, brother. Now tell us, what was your experience?
Okay. First of all, love the show. Love you guys. You guys are killing the game. Secondly, go ahead.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind.
No problem. Avid, like I said, avid listener, watcher. You guys are great. But so this story is from a while back. I've hunted all over the United States. I've hunted in Texas. I lived there. I lived in Minnesota. I've hunted in Arkansas, in Missouri, in all over. Mm-hmm. Ohio, Indiana is where I currently reside.
Okay.
I like I said, I've hunted all over. I've hunted bear. I've hunted bighorn sheep. I've hunted duck, geese, deer. You name it. I was a critter killer.
Wow. Okay.
But so this took place in Hoosier National Forest. I hunted there for about 5 or 6 years, pretty avidly. I was married to second sister at the time, so I tried to spend most of my time in the woods.
Okay.
So any opportunity, I was in the woods, hunting something. So I deer hunted with a bow, but it was gun season. Matter of fact, and this happened to me a couple times while I was there. I've never had an experience like this anywhere else in the U.S.
Okay.
Minnesota, Wisconsin, nowhere else. And I don't really know what it was, but I'll get on to the story. So I hunted Hoosier National, hunted there for about 5 or 6 years. And when you hunt, you do see and hear strange things in the woods. That's just part of it. But as a rational, logical, hunter, you make sense of it. You write it off as snow load, whatever. You write off the noises, bobcat, fox, cougar, whatever. Mm-hmm. So you just rationalize any kind of weird occurrence that's out there, even if you know logically, yeah, something's going on there. But this, like I said, this was back in 2000. So I hunted there from about 2008 to about 2013, so somewhere in there.
Okay.
And Hoosier National is a great big area. It covers several counties. I think it's 150,000 square acres or something like that. It's huge. But you can't have motorized vehicles or anything in there besides on foot or something that's not gasoline propelled or anything like that. We used to, I'm a certified welder, so I made some, we bought, me and my brother-in-laws who I hunted with, we bought mountain bikes, and I welded up some carts to haul the deer out that we harvested. And we would hunt usually 5+ miles back into the woods, because right on the edges of Hoosier National, you'd get a lot of pressure from hunters because nobody wants to pack out a deer that, you know, they got.
Yeah.
So we would always ride back mountain bikes about 5 miles in and start hunting. And twice this happened to me. And I've been in the woods with predators, been in the woods with, you know, wolves, with bear. And I've never, like I said, anywhere I've hunted, I've never had this happen to me. But so one time, it was early in the morning, just before daylight, we rode back in, and we would split up. We'd ride about 5 miles back in, and he would go one way, and I would go the other, because we didn't want to hunt too close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we had climbing tree stands. We'd climb up on, climb up in the tree and, wait. So we get there, we split up, and I noticed that the woods had gone silent. Like I said, it's just before daylight, and you get that eerie feeling that you're being watched. Mm. Now, what it was, I have no idea. I never saw anything, and my head was on a swivel. And the bugs quit doing bug things. The birds, you didn't hear anything. It was just eerily quiet.
Wow. And
it stayed that way from when we would park our bikes, and then we'd walk back in ways and find a tree wherever we were going to hunt. And when I dropped the bike and started walking, like I said, it just was super quiet. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. I just felt like something was watching me. And I've been in the woods, like I said, with predators before, and so that's what I thought. There's got to be a predator around here,
okay,
bobcat or whatever. But I've still never had it be as eerily quiet as it was then. And it lasted for about 30 minutes. I climbed up in the tree stand, stood there and waited, and was a little freaked out, and it went away. Now, in the 5 years, and I hunted there every weekend, I would take a couple weeks off from work and hunt there. So I knew the area that we hunted pretty well. And like I said, I saw, now looking back, I saw, strange tree breaks and things like that I didn't know anything about Bigfoot then.
Sure.
That's something out in the Pacific Northwest. Am I saying that that's what this is? No, I don't know what it was. It was just odd.
Yeah.
And then, go ahead.
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
And then it happened. And then it happened to me again too. If we were there in the afternoon, and I was already in the tree stand, and like I said, the birds, and usually you would hear squirrels. They would start barking. Sure. Like I said, just the typical noises. Heard turkeys. That area that I hunted there in Hoosier National, you would hear a gang of turkeys go through there, and they sound like a mob of something going through the woods, just loud.
Sure.
But again, I was sitting in the tree stand. I got that feeling that something's watching me, and so you start looking around because it's abnormal. And like I said, it went deathly quiet, no bugs, no birds, no anything, just that creepy feeling. And like I said, my head's on a swivel again. I was in a tree stand, and that lasted for 15, 20 minutes, and I never saw anything, never heard anything. Like I said, it was, and then after about 15 or 20 minutes, everything went back to normal, birds and squirrels and, normal activity in the woods. I don't know what that was, just odd. Now, years later, I hunted in Monroe County is where I was hunting at, actually. Years later, when I got into the subject of paranormal, Bigfoot, whatever, I did look up Monroe County, and surprisingly enough, they've had more sightings there of Bigfoot than any other county in the state.
Wow.
Which I thought was kind of odd.
Yeah.
But there's my story. Like I said, take it for what it's worth. It happened. I've never had it happen in any other state that I've hunted, and it was just one of those things in the woods that were odd.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that when the woods go quiet like that, it's just eerie. I mean, you can hear your heart beating. It gets so quiet, and I know what you're talking about, and it's such an unnerving thing. And I don't know what was going on when the woods went quiet that I experienced, like deadly quiet, like there was not a sound, like even the crickets shut up. And that's the part I don't understand. It's like even the crickets shut up. It's like, what is what is a cricket know? Oh, it's so.
And that's just it. When you're in, like, I've been in the woods with, like I said, bears and coyotes, and other animals will quit moving around because they know that there's a predator around. Mm-hmm. But the bugs usually don't quit doing bug things, and you're just like, wow, this is kind of freaky.
Yeah, it's really incredible. And you know what? Honestly, it's probably better you didn't see it. You know what I mean? Because the suspense of those experiences is so profound. But if you capitalized on that with, oh my God, it jumped out from behind a tree. It was huge. It looked like it wanted to tear my lips off. Then, that sticks with you. You can't unsee that, So at least at this point, you can say it's a weird experience. It was really uncomfortable, but then it was over. Right. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like seeing them, I think, is a mental scar for many people.
Absolutely. And I went back in the woods. Like I said, I didn't really, I'd heard about Bigfoot, was interested in the subject, but, never really you put other things on hold when, like I said, hunting was what I did at the time. And, it unnerved me at the time because, like I said, I'd already hunted. I'd lived in Wisconsin and Minnesota and Texas, hunted all these places, hunted Arkansas, and, had never had that happen to me. And it was just really odd.
So can I ask
you? Couldn't explain it then, can't explain it now.
Right. Can I ask you, did that experience stop you from hunting as much, or did it stop you from hunting completely, or how did it affect you after that?
Well, not really at all, because I just wrote it off as because there's really not supposed to be any cougars here in Indiana, but I know there's been some spotted and seen here, right. But really no bears. There's really no big predators here. Coyotes about the biggest thing that there is, supposedly. So yeah, it didn't bother me at all. Matter of fact, the next day I hunted on both of those occasions. Okay. But it was unnerving at the time, and I thought about it and told my brother-in-law about it later that day. I was like, man, I was in the woods, and that's a sign of a predator. I grew up hunting from the time I was little, and so and like I said, I'm getting to be older, and you spend all this time in the woods and nothing like that's ever happened to you, and then this happens. You're like, well, what was that? Right. Even at the time, now, like I said, hindsight's always 20/20. Looking back, I can say, well, had to been a predator. Was it Bigfoot? Maybe. Yep. But I never saw anything, never heard anything. Mm-hmm. It was just unnerving experience that I haven't experienced. Like I said, those 2 times in Hoosier National, and they were a couple years apart. It wasn't, back to back or anything.
Right.
And you just, but looking back, I saw tree breaks that I dismissed as snow load. Things like that. Like I said, when you're in the woods and you see these different things that if you get into the subject of Sasquatch and you're like, I've seen that. These guys are pointing out, you're like, I've seen all that in the woods, but yeah. I thought it was this or that.
Right.
Whatever, you just dismiss it as something else because that's not on your, is there a big buck? Did a buck do that? That's what I want to know.
No, I think that's very true. And sometimes knowing what you know now can change things too. Because I was the same way. I grew up in Minnesota and had a growling happen behind me when I was about 14 years old, and I never could turn to see what was making the noise, but I knew that I was never more scared in my entire life. Now I, for years, carried that around with me because I didn't know what it was. I told my mom; she knew about it, but I just didn't know what to do with it because it was so big. The sound came from something so big, but I grew up in an area that the biggest thing we had was white-tailed deer.
Right.
And then it happened. And, I lived with it for so long. And once I started learning about the signs and things that people attribute to Sasquatch, like the broken trees, the various signs and of there possibly being in an area. And I went back to that area as an adult, and sure enough, I'm finding things that people attribute to Sasquatch, like these strange tree breaks, like a huge sapling about this big around snapped off about 4 feet up with nothing deadfall coming, that could have done it. It just was broken. And I remember being younger and hearing breaking up on that hill and not sure what could do it, but just really intense.
Right, and that's the same thing that I've attributed to snow load, where tops of trees would be broken over. And, like I said, hindsight, looking back, I'm like, there was really only one tree in this area. Nothing else around it was disturbed. I attributed it to snow load. Thinking back, it's like it would have been more than just one tree. If ice or weather had caused it. And you would see it periodically as, because like I said, I hunted 5 miles back in the woods. There was nobody around. People probably hadn't been back there in years.
That's really cool.
Just a couple odd things that happened to me while I was hunting. Other than that, I've never really seen anything, or but besides, like I said, structures, tree breaks, things like that. But as far as anything else, I've never seen or experienced anything weird. And I spent a lot of time in the woods.
Right.
I don't hunt so much now because life's got in the way, kids and all that. But when I was first married, 10 years into my marriage, I hunted all the time. But now not so much anymore.
Oh, well, that's
life. Life gets in the way.
Yep, right. Life happens.
And,
that's
and
absolutely
so
right.
And so now if I hunt, it's mostly waterfowl, duck and goose.
Right.
I still do that, but
very cool.
Sitting out in the freezing cold, waiting on a deer. I've killed enough of them. I'm good.
You're good now, yeah.
At least in the boat when I'm waterfowl hunting, I can cook bacon and eggs, and we don't have to be quiet, and we can have a good time.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I really appreciate you calling in and sharing your story, Brad. It's been a great discussion. And if you have any other stories, please let me know. Email me and we'll talk some more.
Yeah, I've got a bunch from other people, but none that I used to collect stories because I thought they were interesting. I did that for a lot of years, and I've got some people that are credible that I really believed what they were telling me. Some strange things people have encountered.
Well,
all right. Hey, it was great.
Let me know, Brad, and we'll talk.
Great talking to you guys.
Yeah, it's great talking to you too.
Okay, sure.
Sorry.
Will do. Hey, you guys have a great night, and like I said, great job with the show as always.
Thank you so much, sir. Bud. Thanks for calling in, and hopefully you'll reach out and we'll get in touch via email. But thank you, Brad.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
All right. Good night.
I think when you're sitting out there and you're just kind of zen, and all of a sudden everything goes quiet and you don't know what it is. And I think that's, That's more scary because that's the cerebral,
Yeah.
fear, not the jump scare kind of adrenaline fear, and I think that's even scarier is just not knowing, feeling like something's there. The things around you are telling you there's something there, but you just can't put your eye on it. It's like reading a Lovecraft book or something. It builds in your head, but there's never really a monster there, and that's what's creepy.
Or is there?
Or is there?
That's the key part is the suspense. You're right. And having experienced that dead quiet, it's just really unnerving. Now, I can't claim it was a Bigfoot or anything. I don't know what caused it when I experienced it up in the, and it was off of Trout Creek.
Right.
Was where it happened. And it was just the whole forest was dead quiet. The only sound was a trickling stream down below, and it just carried on. And then it was like suddenly, from a little bit distance away, I started to hear like some crickets, and then the tree frogs started kicking in. I was like, oh, and it felt like I could breathe again. It was like holding my breath for that period of time, just walking around, not sure what to do, but just trying to make my presence known. Like, hey, you got to get away from this house.
Yeah.
And thank God I wasn't attacked. I was not armed or anything. I was just just me with a whole lot of stupidity.
Well,
but
that's
I guess, yeah. I mean, this is only what, 5 years ago?
Well,
yeah. I wasn't quite a kid.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was
just stupid.
That was around the same time you had your UFO.
No, that was about 7 years ago now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 6 or 7 years ago now. If I don't know. Everything is just this past now. It's just this nebulous past.
It's happened before.
It was something that happened already, and that's all I know.
Go.
But yeah, it was before I moved up here that I had the UFO experience. So, all right, but great call. Thank you, Brad, for calling in. That was really cool. I love talking about that stuff. I think that's incredibly powerful and poignant and unnerving as well. Having experienced something of the like, it's just like, oh, I know what he's going through. I know what that feels like, and you're just sitting in this suspense because something's going on. Even the animals know something's going on.
They know to shut up.
You're the only one that doesn't really know what's going on, but it's quiet, and it's too quiet, and it's really uncomfortable. So I'm glad that the sound came back, and that was the whole of your experience too. So that's pretty awesome. Jason, sorry you guys got to go. Thank you guys for all the love. Glad I found Paranormal Portal the other day. Y'all made me feel right at home.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be back soon. Good.
There you go.
Thank you, Jason. We appreciate you coming in for as long as you could. And have a great weekend, brother. Come back tomorrow. Another 2-hour show in case if you're not busy. Just saying. Just throwing it out there.
Come hang out with Brent. He needs a co-pilot.
I always need someone to help me drive. And you guys will be it for sure. But let's get back to our article. The article. Are you ready, Don?
Yes, I like to be tickled. Oh, article. Article, not article.
Yeah, it's article, not not articled.
Dang. Yeah.
All right, Don. Enough of that.
Sorry.
Number 14 on our list. There's no reason to say sorry. All right, number 14. I have 2 wireless mouses.
Wow.
I wonder if it's mice, if you have more than one.
They're wireless, so do they have 4 legs each?
Well, they're wireless, so maybe they don't have any legs. You just drag them around. All right, one for a work laptop and one for my personal laptop.
Oh, okay.
When I get things messy, I usually just stack one laptop on top of the closed one underneath with both mouses near the mouse pad. Okay, so I get a call from work saying I need to hop online.
Like a little mouse.
Like a good little mouse or lemming. I work the laptop. I open the work laptop rather and grab the mouse and start opening my work portal. I open email. I do my usual routine. Everything works fine. Then I realize that I'm using the mouse connected to my personal laptop on my work laptop. I shake the mouse. No response. It stopped working once I realized that it shouldn't be working. Ever since then, I found it hard to believe that we don't live in some sort of simulation.
That's interesting.
That's really interesting.
But that might just be quantum entanglement. Well, think about it. I mean, if you're not looking at it, and then when you finally look at it, it's either not there or not there, depending on which one it's supposed to be. So whatever you're powering, you grab the wrong mouse, but it works. and then all of a sudden you realize it's not the wrong one. It stops working.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it's like that light test. They shine the light through the holes.
Sure.
And there's like lots of, and then when you look at it, you only see the bars.
The slit experiment.
Yes,
yep.
there you go.
It can be both, right? So in other words, we create our reality.
Exactly.
We create it. And so in this person's mind, he had the right mouse. And it was an afterthought. Started using it. It worked fine. Opened everything and was able to navigate fine until he realized he had the wrong mouse.
Until.
And then it quit working. That's pretty deep. That's some really creepy, wild stuff, folks. How profound is it to think that we create our own realities? That to me really does cook my bacon.
Well, maybe they should think on that for the next 3 minutes.
I guess they'll have to. That's the thought we're going to leave you with. We'll be right back for the last stretch of the show, so don't run away. Great segue, huh?
Ah, it was awesome, wasn't
That was
it?
almost pro. It almost sounded like we know what the hell we're doing. All right, folks, we'll be right back with more of the Paranormal Portal in just a couple minutes. Last segment coming up in just a second. Be right back.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon.
Hey, Don. Guess what time it is?
It's
Paranormal Portal time.
there you go.
Yeah, we're going to cover the last half hour now, folks. So,
See, I've been missing my cues all night.
well, we didn't really practice this,
No,
so, much like the rest of the show.
It's pretty simple when you're just riding the seat of your pants.
The only thing that worked out really well was you saying, "Hey, they get 3 minutes to think about it." And that
sometimes I'm really good with segue. It's
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Welcome to the last half hour of our journey tonight, the show, our journey. And thanks again to Brad for calling in. That was great to talk to you. And I hope you do email. I'd love to hear the rest of the stories that you've collected because I find those absolutely amazing. I'd love to share them with our audience as well. Or, email me and we'll figure out a time for you to come on and we'll do a podcast. That'd be great to discuss other people's encounters if you have their permission. I mean, as the case may be. But yeah, that'd be fun. That would be a fun discussion. But anyway, speaking of podcasts, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, the Paranormal Portal has a podcast. It's an audio-only podcast. This is not it. Although sometimes we do take YouTube episodes and port them over to the podcast. But generally, the podcast is its own entity, and you can find it on all the major platforms: Pandora, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. The list goes on and on and on and on. CastBox, and there's a bunch more.
Right.
I can never remember.
That sounded like it was almost a really well presented ad.
Yeah, you'd think.
You should use that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it's recorded now for posterity. So we would love, if you've had paranormal experiences of your own, if you want to be a guest on the podcast and talk to me about your experiences, I'd love to talk to you. And we've gotten a few emails from several people. There's somebody calling.
Somebody else.
Phone
call.
From Canada.
Wow.
Okay. Well, let's get to the call and find out what's going on. But email paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. All right, let's get to this call and find out what's going on. This is area code 613. You're on the air.
Hey there. How are you guys?
Hey, we're good. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you.
Well, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind tonight?
I just wanted to express an encounter that I had with my buddy.
Okay.
In Vancouver Island.
Ooh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Love to hear it.
Yeah, for sure. So me and my buddy, we're in the Navy. We were in Victoria, Vancouver Island, and we sort of coincided a date to go camping.
Okay.
It was me and my buddy. We wanted to coincide a date to go camping. We did. And so we went from Vancouver Island and to Port Alberni, which is sort of like central Vancouver Island.
Okay.
And we went to a campsite. And before we went to the campsite, we were like, okay, let's grab a bite to eat. And so we went to this place. We grabbed some beers. We had a couple drinks, had some pizza, and we started talking. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous right now.
Oh no, you're doing great, brother. Just take your time, relax. You got time.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. And so we started hitting on the waitresses, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like man, there's a really cool place to go camping. I think it was called Beaver Creek.
Okay,
and that's in Port Alberni.
Okay,
and so we're like, okay, let's go. Like we'll pick you up after you're done work. So we were kind of hitting on the waitresses, whatever, and so okay, we're like, okay, so we'll pick you up after work, and they gave us the spots at the actual campsite where we were supposed to go. I'm like, okay, awesome. So we set up camp. We're like, okay, we're gonna hook you up. We're gonna pick you up after work, which was around 11 o'clock. So we picked the girls up after 11 o'clock. We set up shop, at the campsite. There's nobody in the campsite. All we smelled was like salmon from the river, because the salmon were just they just spawned and everything, and it was an empty campsite. There was probably, I think, like maybe 3 people there.
Okay.
And so, anyways, we picked the girls up after work. We got some beers, and then we went directly to the campsite after we picked the girls up. And long story short, we were hitting it off with the girls. We were listening to some Metallica, like whatever. I forget what we were playing. They hated it. We were listening to like Iron Maiden, Metallica. These girls were into like Britney Spears and all that stuff. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, so the girl, she's like, okay, let's go to the beach. And there's like a little beach at the place. And we went to the beach, and, you know, we started kind of like making out a little bit. And I know it's a PG show. I get it.
Yeah, thanks.
But when we were making out, like she was just like kissing me, not making out, I guess. She was just like kissing me. We're on the beach, and we heard this like wheezing, and I'm like, whoa. Anyways, we both turned to our right at the same time. It was her left, my right. And I mean, it was this, it was your stereotypical, like witch that was right there on the beach.
Wow.
It was like I don't know. Yeah, it looked like exactly like a witch. It was like a hag type thing. And it was actually just like staring at us. It was about, I don't know, 20 feet away.
Okay.
And it was like wheezing. It was actually like wheezing.
Oh, creepy.
And yeah. So, and the girl, of course, I won't say her name.
Sure.
But she was just absolutely horrified.
Yeah.
And as was I. So I don't know about, like, I don't know if you know anything about Vancouver Island, but there's bear, there's mountain lions, there's everything in there.
Sure.
So I mean, I always have some bear spray on me.
Okay.
So I hit this. So I took out the bear spray, and I started hitting it with the bear spray. It was about 20 feet away. It probably was hitting it, but it just sat there. It was in, it was like literally just sitting there wheezing.
Oh man. And
it had this like really crazy smile on its face. It was a woman for sure. She had hair all over her body. She was probably like 5 feet tall.
Okay.
No clothes, just hair all over her body. I don't even know what to say. Like it was a stereotypical like witch.
Wow.
Like what you would see in like the movies.
Yeah.
It was like a. I mean, again, I'm kind of nervous, like talking to you guys. I can't really articulate it as well as I want to.
Sure. No, you're doing fine. It's really creepy stuff.
But yeah, so we were on the beach, and like she wanted to go kayaking, and I'm like, nah, probably not, because the orcas are sort of in that sort of water. I'm like, yeah, let's not do that. And so that's the reason why we're on the beach.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, so we were kissing, and again we heard wheezing, and we turned to our right hand side, and yeah, it was like a witch or something.
What happened then? So you sprayed it with bear spray, and it didn't seem to affect it, but how did this all? What happens next? So it's standing there wheezing, smirking or grimacing at you, and getting sprayed by bear spray, and not having any effect.
Yeah, literally not making. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And so the girl that I was with was going absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
So I grabbed her by the arm. And I started running away from her, from the witch or whatever it was.
Crone, yeah.
And yeah, whatever. Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, I don't even know.
Right.
And so, like, I literally was dragging her, and like my feet, like my legs, like wouldn't even work. Like I was running, but it was like one of those like weird dreams where,
yeah.
I don't know if you ever had a dream where you can't, like you try to run, but you can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're so horrified.
They're horrible.
And you can't. Yeah, your like legs just can't get under you.
Right.
But anyways, I grabbed her by the arm, started running, ran to the truck. I said, Vince, let's get out of here, bud. I'm like, dude, this is insane. The girl was going absolutely insane.
Yeah.
That I was actually like dragging her because her legs wouldn't work at all.
Oh my God.
And yeah. So we went into the truck. We did not tear down our camp. We like literally went into the truck and bounced out of there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So it never made.
I know I can't articulate it.
No, I think I understand what you're experiencing, and I think you're doing fine. Yeah, but it never really pursued you. It was just standing there watching you, like rasping and breathing heavy, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, with like this weird, I don't know, like it just like this like weird like smile on her face,
right,
or on its face,
right.
Again, it was okay. So it was a woman. I know that. I'm not going to get into the details,
okay.
But I know it was a woman for sure. She was on the beach, completely naked. Her body was full of hair.
Okay.
And she was just like staring at us, wheezing.
Wow.
I hit her with the bear spray.
Uh-huh.
Didn't do anything. The girl that I was with freaked out. I grabbed her by the arm and we ran to the truck, which was probably about 50 yards away. We didn't even look back.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I don't blame you.
I didn't know if it was. Yeah. So I don't know if it was in pursuit or anything.
Okay.
But yeah. So like we literally, and we like to this day, we didn't go back to that campsite. It was an empty campground, Beaver Lake, Port Alberni, Vancouver Island.
Wow.
And yeah, like we didn't, like I think I have like I don't know, I have like a $500 tent there. I have I think I literally left everything there, like literally, like no thoughts about going back, no thoughts about talking to the owner.
Right.
We just bounced out.
So now she was from the area, right? This girl that you were with was from that area, right?
She was, yeah. She worked at the sports bar that we went to. Yeah.
Now, did you stay in touch with her at all, or was that kind of it?
A little bit, because I went to Ontario, like Ottawa, Ontario, afterwards.
Okay.
Just for like business purposes.
Okay. Now the reason,
but I did stay in touch with her a little bit. Yes, I did.
Did you ever discuss it after the fact with her? And the reason I'm asking is I'm curious if there's a local precedent for what you saw. Is there any known experiences other people have had that are similar in that area?
Well, I know that I know a lot of the indigenous people there have encounters with like Sasquatch and Dogman.
Sure.
On Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
but like other than that, like no, she's like,
wow,
she didn't really, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's just curious. I mean, thank God it was a once in a lifetime kind of thing. That never happened again. But it's really hard to reassemble things after something like that, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I love to take my dogs out into the woods here.
Uh-huh.
I'm in Ottawa, Ontario right now.
Sure. Okay.
I love to take my dogs out in the woods, but like literally, it's a bit sketchy.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like I used to be an avid outdoorsman.
Uh-huh. Did that kill your love of camping? Oh, we might have lost him.
It happens.
I hope I didn't lose him. Okay. Well, I see. Yeah, it went dead. We lost him.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, that.
I didn't even get his name up. So
That's something I was going to ask too. So yeah, that's pretty wild. What would you think? You're out there. You're enjoying the sights, and with a friend, and you look up, and 20 feet away is something you would describe as. Somebody said something about Baba Yaga.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Rachel said that.
Except for the hairy body, that's but the old crone thing. Oh, there he is. He called back again. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, are you there? Hello? We got you back, I think. Now.
Hey there, how are you?
Thanks for calling back in.
Oh, excellent.
I didn't. What was your name? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
you
sure.
don't have to give me your full name, but just your first name.
Yeah. Okay, my first name is Jason.
Okay, Jason.
Okay,
all right, thanks.
Nice.
I apologize. I didn't ask before, but we're just really blown away by your story.
That's okay.
But it never came up, or there was never any precedent for that in the area that you're familiar with.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay.
All I know is that area or.
Hey, Jason, I think we're losing you.
Touch.
I think we're losing you again, brother. Okay. I do apologize, but we do have one more caller. Thank you for calling in, Jason.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That was awesome. Yes.
I'd like to hear more from you if you get the chance, but maybe we need a better connection. So let's get to the other caller while we still.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. Okay. I want to get to one more caller here, and this is coming from area code 971. You're on the air.
Hey.
Hey.
You guys getting me?
We got you. Who are we talking to?
Hey. This is Justin Good Earth.
Justin!
Oh, hey, brother. How you doing?
Time.
Hey, it's good to hear from you, man. How you been?
Hey, not bad, not bad. It's really hard to follow that last caller.
Yeah, that's really something, though. That's a really weird one, and it's kind of a unique one because I've not heard of any hairy crone-like creatures before, but that's creepy. That almost sounds like troll-like or something,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was exciting and terrifying at the same time.
I know. Yeah, I don't blame them, for getting the hell out of there and leaving the tent. Tent's easy to replace, but your sanity's not.
Yeah.
But what's on your mind tonight, brother?
I have honestly, I've threatened several times to call you guys and tell you about the skulls that my brother and I found in Arkansas when we were kids.
Can you do it in 6 minutes?
I can probably do that.
Okay. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing a 2-hour show tomorrow. If you can call in then, if you want more time, I'd love to give you all the time you need.
Well, I could give you the quick version now, and certainly call back tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
If you want to hear from me.
Oh, I always want to hear from you. Absolutely.
I can tell you the whole thing at Melding Falls. But I can make a long story short. Basically, my brother and I were down we lived in Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
And on a dairy farm way out in the middle of nowhere. It was northwest Arkansas, outside of Fayetteville.
Mm-hmm.
And we lived up in the Ozark Mountains, and we like to go around, out in the woods and explore caves, and we were really fascinated with the cliffs and bluffs and everything. We found a lot of Native American artifacts and hieroglyphs and that sort of thing in these places. So we would go exploring out here, out there in the woods, and we had found a cave, and we wanted to explore this cave, and we could tell it was pretty deep because there was a lot of debris that had been pushed out of it, and you could feel the cold air coming out of it.
Okay.
So long story short, my brother decides to be the first one to go in, and crawls in there and disturbed a pair of buzzards that were in the cave, and they puked on him. Because that's a buzzard's defense mechanism. They throw up on you.
Oh, gross.
And so he came running crawling out of the cave with vomit all over him, and was freaking out. Well, he was shortly followed by the buzzards. So I started batting the buzzards away with my walking stick that I had. And long story short, again, he tried to clean himself up, and we both went in the second time because the buzzards were cleared. And we came out with 2 very large skulls. They were bigger than our stepdad's head as a skull.
Wow.
So with no meat or skin or hair or anything on them. They had some hair that was embedded into the scalps, but they were connular skulls. Wow. And somewhere my mom has pictures of these things.
Oh my God.
But I can't get her to search for them. But we brought 2 skulls back to the house that were huge. And there was a lot of other bones out there and everything too. But we brought the skulls back, and my mother ended up calling the Arkansas State University, Go Hogs, and they sent somebody out to collect the skulls. My mom gave them the skulls, and they apparently gave them to the Smithsonian.
Of course.
Geez, yeah.
The graveyard of all things that are paranormal.
Yeah.
Wow.
All things fascinating will go away at the Smithsonian.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker. That is really bizarre.
But that's always what gets me going when people start talking about not having evidence for these forest creatures, these Sasquatch or whatever you want to call them. There are so many different types of beings that evidence has been found.
Yeah.
It's just been hidden.
Right.
Now, the curious thing was you found this in a cave. So I wonder if that speaks to what they do with their dead. Maybe they just push it into caves and stuff. A lot of people have postulated that they bury their dead, but maybe in certain situations they just use caves. What is it? Was it a small cave or was the opening small or was the opening big, or what was that like?
The opening was small. It had probably been filled in quite a ways though. I mean, this was an old cave. There was a lot of soot and soft dirt and everything on the bottom of this thing. We probably could have excavated it a little better, but we were kids,
Right.
I was 8 years old.
Oh wow.
So we just crawled into this hole.
So they were conical shaped skulls
after my brother got the buzzards.
Yeah, they were cone-headed, like conical shaped heads, much like you see in the Patty film.
Yeah, they had what do they call that? A sagittal crest. They had a peak at the top of their head.
Oh,
it
was like a harder, taller portion of bone that was on the top of its head.
God, wouldn't you just like to step back in time and just go grab those quick and bring them forward? Like, hey, kids, give me that.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
I've thought about that so many times, and I've tried to picture, and I've hit my mom up, and she's staunchly religious, and really doesn't want to entertain the idea of these unknown creatures. I'm like, why, Mom?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's another one of God's creations.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if we don't want this known, this is history. This is knowledge.
Well, that's perfect, brother.
Yeah.
I hope you do call in tomorrow night again and we can discuss it further, but unfortunately we're out of time for tonight.
Always great talking to you guys, and I'm desperately struggling to get to Medellin Falls. I can't rent a car because right now it's like $500 for a rental. So I may be just bringing the Mercedes out there prospecting and stuff.
All right, brother. We'll be waiting for you there, but I got to let you go now because it's time to close the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with Don and myself. We'd like to tell you we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice, take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night.
Good night. All right.
Whoops.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear.